the one incident I probably struggled with the most was an incident that I wasn't there for. So my crew attended, it was the one day, I can't even remember why. I think I'd done a purple shift, so taken the last night off, and I'd gone home early. And then that night that I wasn't with my crew, they attended an incident that was like sort of one of those incidents that forge your crew in a way, it's what. And I had that sort of guilt or whatever it was of not being there, not being with my crew. And I know just recently with the stuff at the Mount, obviously that was like a big significant event for the watch that was on at the time. And speaking to a few of the guys who weren't there for various reasons, all legitimate reasons, that weren't on watch that day, but their regular crew was, that guilt sort of stuck with them for a while. So minimizing exposure and the difference between that and, I suppose, still that
camaraderie and
that guilt of when you're not with your crew.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys...
I feel like that's slightly different. As in regard to what you said about the cot death, like that was an officer stopping the crew from going in. It was already there.
Yeah.
And there was no need to see that situation.
Yeah.
I think what you're talking about is more that situation where you feel helpless, that you weren't there with your crew when something major happened, to be a part of it and almost the debrief or help them understand. You feel, because your crew becomes your family.
Yeah.
And with anyone's family, if they go through a massive event and you're not there, you'd feel pretty horrible.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same when your crew goes through it and you're not on that day. You still have that, I don't know, it is, you feel for them a lot more. Because if you're there, you can kind of go through it and you can debrief and everything's kind of fine. But if you're not there, you kind of don't understand how it happened, what happened, or...
Yeah, that's right.
If everyone's okay.
Yeah.
And you kind of don't want to step on anyone's toes and bring it all back up either.
That's right.
So I think that's probably the problem.
I think that's sometimes when people say, "Oh, minimize exposure," but then I have that but I gotta be with my team. I struggle to sort of separate the two sometimes. I think.
There's different aspects of being at the job. Like, so for instance, if we go to a motor vehicle crash. There's those who are immediately dealing with the patients in the car, and then there's those in the support sector. You're still with your team. You don't have, if you're not immediately dealing with those patients, you don't need to look in the window and see the carnage.
Yeah, right.
That's unfortunately those who are on the tools will see that carnage. But if you're in the support sector, you're still helping.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have to...
Just in a different way.
Yeah.
It's the same as being the pump operator, isn't it? You're the driver at a fire. You get to the fire. Sometimes you're parking on the road. The fire's down a long driveway. All you're doing is standing at the pump. Feeding water to it, and you have no idea what's happening inside. And you kind of just want to be like, damn, I really want to be doing something, but this job's super important, so I need to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true. That's a good way of framing it. I like that.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
I think as firefighters, we all just want to be doing something impactful.
Yeah.
And sometimes we all feel a bit helpless if we're not getting, or we're not in the role for that day. Of being right in the thick of it. And you kind of almost, you want to be in the thick of it so no one else has to be in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Like you're almost trying to minimize it for someone else by taking it on yourself. But we're all very similar, so we're all trying to, we're all trying to do that for each other. But
that's a good way of framing it.
So it is something, if you don't need to be exposed to it as much as you want to help out, sometimes it's best not to be exposed to it, and then you could probably help them by debriefing or having a yarn about it afterwards.
Yeah. And I think if you are exposed to it, I think the best officers will always have that hot debrief and then have a follow-up, maybe even another follow-up, just to make sure that everyone's all right. Again, you have old school people like, everyone's all right, yeah, sweet, okay. And then that's it.
Let's never talk about it again.
That's the hot debrief, you know, but